All right, it looks like everybody is in and we are ready to go. I just want to welcome everyone to our Back to School Vault Ask Us Anything webinar. Before we get started, I do want to point out there is a questions chat box, and I want to make sure that it's working because this is a webinar where you will ask us live questions if you have them. So if you don't mind taking a quick second to pop something into that questions chat, it can be your name, your favorite TV show, whatever you feel desire to pop in there. That way we can make sure that's working and that we can ensure we can see your questions and answer them throughout the webinar. All right, so first to get started, I want to welcome everybody. My name is Carrie Freiler. I am your host, and my co-host today is Ms. Hannah Gunderson. I'm actually going to be answering some of the questions along with Hannah, who is actually going to be looking out for those questions that you all put in that chat box. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Hannah really quick, as she's going to give you a quick little blurb about who OmegaFi is.
Hi, everyone. For more than 30 years, OmegaFi has provided technology solutions to help our customers manage their finances, streamline their operations, recruit new members, and, oh, one second, y'all, my screen just went out. Oh no. Okay. Recruit new members and communicate with their members, whether it's working with 57 different headquarters or local chapters, house corporations, IFC, and Panhellenic councils, as well as alumni associations across more than 650 campuses. We remain the industry leader when it comes to technology in the fraternity and sorority community. Based out of Columbus, Georgia, we securely process more than $1.1 million per day for our clients and have securely processed more than $4 billion since 1992. We're also deeply committed to serving, promoting, and advancing the fraternity and sorority experience. We aim to make raving fans with every individual or group we work with by reaching, innovating, and acting with agility. We challenge ourselves to dream big each day and help each other achieve their own dreams, or our own dreams as well. To say we're passionate about what we do is definitely an understatement, and it's this passion that has encouraged our clients to trust us to do the heavy lifting so they can focus on their mission and having fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. All right. So our webinar agenda today, so this is a little bit different. This is a live where you ask the questions and we answer them. So how this is going to work, I'm going to go over, I will read aloud the pre-submitted questions that you all submitted during registration and answer those for you. And then we will answer some of the questions in the chat. And also, if you feel the need to ask live, if you will, in the chat box, just ask to be unmuted, then we will go in and unmute and you can ask your question live. So we will go ahead and get started. If I ask, or if I'm reading a question, or if I don't read a question that you submitted, that just means that it is very specific to your chapter and or organization, and we will have somebody reach out to you via email or phone to answer that question. So I'll go ahead and get started here. The first question was, how do we set up payers by room so that damage situations can be addressed by room? So I'm assuming this is how you can bill somebody depending on where they live. If your chapter has a house and you're living in a specific room, so you can actually set up billing groups for the rooms to put members in. If this is your question, I'm not really sure what your specific billing group looks like. So we will actually have a team member reach out to review your account. But billing groups really help with putting people into groups and billing specific items and charges for that particular group that they're in. So you can really do a lot with billing groups. The next question, what is the best practice for encouraging auto pay? So this is a really good question. A couple of ways or a couple of things. One way you can kind of spin it to your members as a what can it do for you? Well, it's going to make your life easier as a member. You don't have to remember to log in every month to make a payment. You can actually set the auto pay up You can pay the due amount on the due date within a pre-selected time frame. So you can have, whether you're being billed 4 months, 6 months, so your semester, you can set that time frame to where it's only going to charge your card during that time frame that you put in, and then it'll end. And then that due amount. So you have some control over that, and then it just helps you. You don't have to worry about it. This isn't necessarily something that is encouraging, but you can also require it. We do have other admins who require members to be on autopay, especially if they live in the house. And with requiring, in order to make sure that they're doing what they have been asked, there is an autopay report in Vault that you can actually pull. And I will pull up Vault really quick. I meant to do that a minute ago, so I can show you what that is going to look like. So to pull an auto pay report, you're going to go to the billing menu, and as simple as it is, auto pay report. So you can see here in our test account, we've got a couple of people set on auto pay. It tells them what type of payment method that they established and their begin and end date if they gave one. And then it gives you just a little bit more information about that member. Okay. Next question. In billing setup, can we set up a pay all up front category in addition to 3 installment billing we have been doing? Yes, so this is also known as like a pay in full. So I mentioned billing groups a moment ago. Within the billing groups, if you have a billing group for in-house members and you've got them paying their rent and charges on a monthly basis and you've broken up that into 3 installments, we can create the exact same billing group, but instead of breaking those charges up, we can put it all in that first month, or also known as that first cycle. So you can have an in full billing group that matches the installment billing group. So whoever wants to pay in cycle 1 all up front can be put in that billing group, and they can do that. And then those that need a payment plan over the course of the semester, you can place them in the payment plan billing group. So that is an option, and it's very common to have in full billing groups and then installment billing groups as well. The other question, please go over how to return security deposits to members for rooms in-house, and how does our software handle that best? So that depends on how your chapter bills and utilizes all the features in Vault. I specifically am referring to bill pay. So if your chapter does not refer to or utilize bill pay, then this would not apply to you. But our recommendation is using Vault and opening a bill pay fund. You can label it security deposit, and then attach or create a deposit split, if you will. So you're going to essentially separating the funds. So when you bill your members, if you bill them a security deposit and then their chapter dues, when they make a payment, with the split that you have set up, anything that's coded to that revenue category of housing deposits or security deposits, the system will automatically separate that money for you, and you can put that security deposit payment into the security deposit bill pay fund. And then from that bill pay fund, you can actually issue reimbursement checks to the members. Super simple. You'll fill in the member information, the amount that they're owed, if you've had any damages that need to come off, or if they get the full amount, and then the system will print and cut and mail a check for the reimbursement for the security deposits. So that is how we recommend doing that, is creating that bill pay fund and letting the software separate your money, and then when you get ready to refund that, using that security deposit bill pay fund to issue those reimbursement checks. All right, next question. How do we separate out active chapter and house corporation revenue expense for reporting, but still able to roll them up together? So Vault does not offer a way to separate the two entities because it's typically billed all under one account. However, you can export the reports. Example, they're exportable in Excel. It is a little bit manual process, but you can manually separate them once you export them in Excel. And then Vault is there already essentially rolling it up into one. So that's how we can make that work, since Vault doesn't have the ability to separate it out itself right away, because it's all under one account and you're billing for house, corporation, and chapter. The next question, how do we get billing cycles set up for fall 2024? So the particular organization that asked this question, due to your organization, it looks like it was a Gamma Phi Beta chapter, that is specific on your organization's partnership with us, so you would have to reach out to your financial supervisor. Anybody else that needs to know how to set up fall billing, you can actually, a couple of different things. This billing menu here in Vault, you would go to Billing Overview, and there will be a button that says Set Up Billing. If you do not see this button, that probably means you have your national organization has a partnership with Omega Phi in some sort of fashion, and you would just need to reach out to your support email or operations support and speak with a representative, and they can help navigate you into getting that fall billing set up. The next question, if you select a member as disassociated in the membership status, how do you change them back to active or inactive? So I'm assuming you mean how do you change them back to like an active member status? To do that, that is going to be under the chapter menu, update member statuses. Now again, if this is not an option for you when you log into Vault, that most likely means that your national organization has a specific way to update, so you would just need to reach out to an advisor or a consultant of the national headquarters, and most likely they have a way to update them back to an active member status that will then talk to Vault for you. But for anybody who does not have that, you can go to chapter, update member statuses, and then filter it out and move them back. The next question, with the poor delivery rate by USPS, especially in Georgia, are there any plans to add ACH payments for vendor or member invoices? I feel that the United States Postal Service is very slow and has been for quite some time. However, at this time, that is not something Vault accommodates in bill pay for vendors. So it is a good old-fashioned mailing of the check. But members, I'm not sure what the members' invoices, I'm assuming members paying their bills. Now that you can do essentially ACH, they can log in, pay with a debit or credit card on their account, or they can use the e-check feature as well, so pay by e-check. But as far as paying a vendor via bill pay, that Vault does not offer ACH. The next question, how can we best recover your new charges for ACH payments? So as most of you probably know, that there is a new fee for ACH payments. A couple of ways that you can do this, it's very similar to the merchant discount fee, is budget it into your dues amount. And I know it's never fun to increase amounts, but that is the way that we would suggest, is increasing it, entering it into that budget, or you can add a line item, but it has to be billed to everybody, and then you'll see that separate, but I would just add that into your budget for future, since that ACH is new. A side question on that was next to this one is, why can't you charge our members the 3% credit card fee? So that is that merchant discount fee. Again, there are ways that you can recover that, is adding it in to the budget. But the reason why we can't just go in and say, well, John, you paid with a credit card, I'm billing you for the merchant discount fee, that 3%. That is because it goes against our contract with the payment processor. So that is something that we have agreed not to do. So the only way around that is either billing it to everyone as a whole, like on your schedule of charges, or putting in a buffer in the increase a little bit in the dues amount to help offset some of those costs. So for the pre-submitted questions, I think that was all that I was able to answer live. If you did not hear your question and you submitted one, that just means it's a little bit more specific to your chapter, and we will reach out to you with the answer to that after the webinar. Hannah, I'm going to turn it over to you for a second. Did you see any questions in the chat box?
Yes, we have a couple good ones. So the first one is asking, do late fees come out of an actual, like its own income account that they can, kind of keep up with that, like if there's an outstanding balance owed in that income account?
Yes, so late fees have their own revenue income account. So when you are creating your billing, you can select to turn late fees on. And what that does is the system will automatically, when you set your dates for your billing cycles, you'll set a due date and then a late after date. And if a member has not paid by the late after date and you have turned late fees on, the system will automatically assess a late fee, and it automatically is coded to the late fee income account. So you'll be able to see that in like the income statement for any income that was created by members paying late fees. This test account is not going to show that because it's a test account, so it's not a ton of information, but it will automatically do it, and it'll be its own income account, and it says late fee. So yes, that can be separated.
Thank you, Carrie. And then their next question that we have come in, I just got tongue-tied. The next question that we had come in was asking how they can view their Omega-Fi fees.
Oh, awesome question. So how can you view your Omega-Fi fees? So first off, you can view the Vault billing fees under the accounting menu, and it says Vault billing details. So this is where you can see within a date range or a selected term of what the percentage or amount was, and then it'll give you some information. You can also see some of that as well under the account registers. This is my favorite register. It is called the Omega-Fi account register, and it's all the way down here. This Omega-Fi account register is going to show you within a date range that you pull it any payments that have come in, and then it's going to break it down even further, and it's going to show you the amount of the merchant discount fee that was taken off of the top of that payment, the Omega-Fi fee, and anything else, and it's going to show you the deposits of where the money is going after those fees have been taken. So a couple different places, and if you notice, you can actually get to that screen I was just at from the Omega-Fi account register, which is view that Vault billing and collection fee details. And this is all located under the accounting menu.
Thank you. And then we have another question that asked, can you view total balances of all accounts on the homepage? Do you mind going back to the homepage? I can't remember off the top of my head what balances they're talking about. Oh, maybe those member balances by account down there.
Yes, so this is not going to be a great, but the homepage gives you kind of a graph of where you're currently standing in terms of total balances, yes, who is current, past due, severely past due, and then it breaks it down. Then this little widget balances by income account. So it should give you an overview, yes.
And is there a way they can pull the report to see like a breakdown by member, what each of those balances are?
Yes, so for income accounts, right? Yes.
Yes, like I think there's one under the billing tab.
It is.
Yep.
Sorry, I was clicking everywhere but that. It is the report under the billing menu called Balances by Income Account. What that will do, I'm not going to click on it right now. Well, let's see if it'll populate. I don't even know if it will. It's going to be an Excel, so it's going to populate a different screen, and it's going to pull an Excel spreadsheet. Let's see. That's what it'll pull. So if anybody has anything owed in any sort of income account, or if there's a credit balance, that will download for you, and you can get a good glance at what everybody owes per account, and then the total.
All right, and then the next question we have is probably one of our most commonly asked question by admin. And they said that one of their members has the message on their account about collections. Is there anything they need to do about this?
Okay, so I will show you where you can see that as well. So yes, we do Vault Omegafy, we do follow the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. So we do have on every statement, depending on the past due status, it is going to give them a little message. And you can find what these messages are actually under the billing menu. And it's going to be under the statement contact information. And then this little number 3 here, view delinquency status messages. So Omegafy does not report past due balances to collection agencies. We don't automatically turn anything over. This is anything that has to do with collections is 100% up to the chapter. However, because it's a balance, they do owe, and in order to utilize collections, we do that the debt does have to age, and they do have to be these delinquency messages. Depending on the delinquency status, they will receive, letting them know that their account is past due, severely past due, whatever the case may be, and that it is in a status to where it could potentially go to collections. If the chapter decides they've exhausted all efforts in getting this particular member to pay, once an account reaches charge off, that is when the collection process can start. But if they're just severely past due or past due, they're seeing these statements or these messages, they can be rest assured that we are not reporting anything. It is not affecting their credit at all. It does not start affecting their credit until the chapter themselves have gone in vault and gone through the collections and actually submitted the account to the collection agency. And that does not happen until charge-off status.
Perfect, thank you. And that was the last question we have so far, but I can give it a second to see if anyone else has follow-up or new questions.
These were all really good questions. Again, if you pre-submitted a question and it was not answered in the webinar, we will reach out to you personally.
Yes. And I do have one more question that came in. So they said that they're trying to do a cleanup for their account. How could they clean up their vendors? They said there's a lot of people they've never heard of, like vendors from before their time, if they could get that information off of their account so it's not getting in the way when they're paying their bills.
Yeah, so it sounds like this chapter utilizes bill pay. So what they'll do to clean up their vendors, they will go to the bill pay menu, and they will go to the vendors list, and they'll go through here and select who the vendor it is that they are not sure of, or they know they have not paid in a while, and they want to get them removed. Under the profile section of the vendor detail, at the very bottom is this mark vendor inactive. So it's pretty simple, and they will just mark that vendor inactive, and that will remove them from the main vendor list for cleaning up some stuff.
Thank you. And then we did have one more question come in. They're asking if you could do like a quick run through of setting up dues for members. So maybe showing them where they could do that, you know, billing for the semester, as well as like those one-off charges that may come up, like a t-shirt.
Oh yeah. So setting up the due or setting up billing. Again, this is going to be dependent on your organization and the type of do's and don'ts or cans and cannots with the Vault software. So if you are getting ready to set up your billing for fall 2024, you will simply go to Billing Overview. If your organization or chapter sees the Setting Up Billing button, that means you are good to go. You have access to do so. Some chapters do not have that option because they got a little bit different setup and where they need some assistance on our end. So if that is the case, you do not see that button, you will simply reach out to your support email or operationssupport@omegafy.com. And I'll have at the end of this in just a moment, I will have our contact information on the screen for you to take a screenshot of. So if you have any questions on this, if you're going through these steps and you're still not sure, you can always reach out and we can help guide you through that. But you'll set up the billing, you'll select the dates of the term that you're working with, and then you'll just follow the steps that it provides. You'll select up the late fees, and then you'll begin to select the dates, however many cycles you want, and then you'll enter the charges that you need. So you'll code it to an income account, you'll give it a description, and you'll give it an amount, and then you will review and approve. For one-off charges, so if you've got somebody that did something wrong, they got a fine, or you've got t-shirts you're selling, and somebody has, your members have ordered a t-shirt that they need to pay for. Also under the billing menu, you can add transactions in mass or to a group. We'll show you how to add a transaction in mass. It's the most common one because it just kind of defaults it by the name. So you'll find the person who ordered their t-shirt. Chandler Bing got him a t-shirt. The type is going to be, so a charge, you're charging them. So you need payment from them. So you'll select that. If it's crediting somebody, say you billed them for something, they said they were going to get a t-shirt, but then they didn't. So you need to give them their money back on their account. It would be a credit. So in this case, they've got ordering a t-shirt. It would be a charge. You would put in the description, the income account. So this just depends on how your chapter budgets. But maybe it's for a social event. So you can code that t-shirt order to the social, put in the amount, and you can do multiple people if there's a few, so you can do a handful at a time, and then you would create the transaction.
Thank you. And then we have another question. It says, where can they see all the funds for each fund account? For example, all the funds by utilities, all the funds by rent. So like seeing the breakdown of that income, probably, I'm assuming is what they're asking.
Okay. Thinking that the best way to see the fund, so like the income for each, like what you've received, and just pop in there in that questions if this is not how we are we are reading your question, but I think you're going to want to go to the income statement. The income statement is a wonderful report, and you can do current fiscal year. And this is going to give a breakdown of all of the income account, what was actually received. If you utilize the budget tool, it will work well with the income statement, so you can see what you budgeted, and then there's a difference. So you can kind of see actually what you took in revenue, and then if you utilize expenses and pull those in, then it'll break it down in expenses as well. So I think that's what he's referring to. So here is our contact information. So again, some of these questions may have been very specific, or you may have seen something in Vault that you don't see when you log into Vault. So most of the time that just means the way your organization is set up with the software in Vault and OmegaFi just works a little bit different. So if you saw something today that you don't normally see and you've got questions, this is how you can email us at operations support. If you've got login issues, so new members are coming in soon for recruitment, so go ahead and take a screenshot of this. This is how you can get in contact with us, a phone or the Vault in app, get help. You can submit all of your questions there as well. But I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. It was really great questions, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their week and weekend. And thank you for joining.